He lived alone in the desert, a former soldier with nothing left to fight for, until a starving alien cub appeared at his door. Feeding it should have been a simple act of mercy. Instead, it marked him as protector of a dying species, and caught the attention of a fierce alien mother whose people were being hunted to extinction. What began as a single meal turned into war, love, and a bond deeper than blood. This is the story of how one human became the last hope of an entire race. The desert winds howled across the red dunes of Guros 9, rattling the outer plating of Ryan Thorne's isolated outpost. He'd chosen this world for its silence, its emptiness, a place where a former Special Forces operative could disappear and leave the war behind. No neighbors, no duties, just solar power, sand, and solitude. Until the day he opened his door and found a starving alien cub collapsed on his threshold. It was small, feline-like, with sapphire blue fur, oversized ears, and bright golden eyes that looked up at him in both fear and hope. Its ribs showed beneath its matted coat, and it clutched a torn ration wrapper in one clawed hand. "Where the hell did you come from?" Ryan muttered, kneeling cautiously. The cub flinched but didn't run. There was no hesitation after that. He brought it inside, fed it one of his precious protein packs, and gave it water. The translator implant in his ear struggled to decipher the cub's language, but eventually it produced one word. Kit. That night, Kit curled up beside the heater and fell asleep, purring faintly. Ryan told himself it was just one night. He'd let the poor creature recover, then send it back, somewhere. But the universe had other plans. At dawn, the knock came. He answered the door with his rifle in hand, and froze. A tall alien woman stood there, regal and fierce. She was covered in the same deep blue fur as the cub, but taller than him, with a long, sleek tail, armor reinforced with tribal etchings, and golden, slitted eyes that assessed him with the cold precision of a predator. The translator kicked in. "You fed my son," she said, her voice low and melodic, but dangerous. Ryan kept his weapon low, but ready. He showed up half dead. "I wasn't going to let a kid die on my doorstep." For a long moment, she said nothing. Then she bowed, deeply. "You have invoked the old law of the Fallion. By saving the life of my cub, you have declared yourself his protector." She paused, rising, "And by extension, guardian of our line." Ryan blinked. "Wait, what?" The woman stepped closer. "I am Kira. I am the last adult of my bloodline. My people are nearly extinct." She explained that the Fallions had once thrived across 3 star systems. A noble, proud race known for their intellect and grace, but the Draconian lords saw them as rare prizes, collecting them as pets or trophies. The Fallions had resisted. They paid the price in blood. Now, only scattered survivors remained, hunted, hiding on the edges of civilization. Kira and her son Kit had been on the run for years. Their ship had crashed days ago in the Guros desert. Kit had wandered in search of help. Found Ryan. And now, by feeding him, Ryan had become something more than a man living in exile. He'd become family. Over the following weeks, Kira and Kit stayed. The bond, whether sacred or accidental, had been formed, and Kira took it seriously. She trained with Ryan every morning, her fighting style a mesmerizing blend of feline agility and brutal efficiency. Ryan taught Kit how to rig solar traps and repair wiring, shared old Earth stories, and learned about the Fallion rites of passage. At first, Ryan kept his distance. They were guests. Nothing more. But as days turned into nights under the twin moons, something shifted. Kira began to laugh. It wasn't often, but when it happened, it lit up the room like a solar flare. She would sometimes rest a hand on his shoulder without thinking. Her fur was soft. Her eyes, intense. Her scent, wild and comforting. And Ryan, who had come to Guros 9 to bury his past, found himself building a future instead. Then the Draconians came. It started with a low-orbit scan. Then a scout ship landed 2 clicks from the outpost. Kira went still the moment she heard the whine of their engines. "He's found us," she said. "Lord Vex." Ryan didn't need to ask who. He'd heard rumors about Vex, one of the richest Draconian nobles, known for his collection of rare species. Kira and Kit were high on his list. Ryan looked at her, then at Kit, who was trying to act brave but shook with silent fear. "No one's taking either of you," Ryan said. He fortified the outpost overnight, trip mines, auto turrets, and fallback positions. Kira stood beside him, sword in hand. Kit helped however he could. When the Draconian strike team came, they weren't expecting resistance. They got a war. Ryan fought like the old ghosts never left him. Kira moved like fire and shadow, silent and lethal. Together, they drove the attackers back, leaving scorch marks in the sand and broken armor in the dunes. But the outpost was damaged. They couldn't hold another assault. Then came the message, Terran forces inbound. Somehow, Ryan's emergency signal had gotten through. The Draconians retreated. And just like that, it was over. Or so he thought. The Terran diplomatic corps arrived the next day. Ryan expected interrogation. He got an offer. They'd witnessed what he'd done, how he'd protected a dying species. They offered him a position, not as a soldier, but as a guardian. The Terrans were launching a protected sanctuary for endangered species on the lush, uninhabited world of Arcadia. They wanted Ryan to run it, with Kira's people as its heart. Ryan said yes. 6 months later, the twin sons of Arcadia bathed the valley in warm gold. Ryan stood on the cliffside overlooking the sanctuary, a blend of Fallian architecture and human engineering, nestled in wild green hills. Kira joined him, her hand finding his. "We've had 3 more families arrive this week," she said. "The council wants to make you their speaker." "I'm just a guy who gave a kid a protein bar," Ryan said. "You gave him more than that," Kira murmured. "You gave him hope." He looked down at the training field where Kit and other Fallian cubs sparred in mock duels, their laughter echoing across the valley. Ryan had thought he was broken, that he had nothing left to give. But that one act of kindness, feeding a lost cub, had rewritten his entire fate. He glanced at Kira, at the way the sun lit her fur, the warmth of her smile, the strength in her gaze. "You know," he said softly, "when you told me I was now part of your bloodline, I didn't really understand what that meant." "You do now?" she asked. He nodded. "It means I'll fight for it, live for it, and die for it, if I have to." Kira leaned into him, her purring deep and steady. "We hope you live a very long time, Ryan Thorne. Our bloodline depends on it." He smiled, kissed her gently, and together they watched the future unfold, built not on conquest or war, but on compassion, family, and the quiet power of choosing to care when no one else would.